Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie.
I'm Roman.
And today we're going to show you, I would say, the best potato latkes that you've ever had. So what we're doing today is sharing a recipe that Roman made in his time in, what was the restaurant?
Northern Union.
I apologize. I should have known that, but I did not prep that. I was like, what was the restaurant? Anyway, in any case, he came up with the recipe. We tried it here. I was like, this is spectacular. So I wanted him to show you guys how to make this recipe. But of course, we also put a little bit of a twist on it because we had to. So I'm going to pass it to Roman right now to talk about the latkes.
All right. I am a huge fan of latkes. Like I was telling Janie off camera, I enjoyed these growing up. When I went to school, there was this really prominent Jewish European neighborhood at my high school, and I would walk through, and every morning I would stop at this one store, and I would grab myself a latke to walk to school with, and it became a ritualistic thing. It was one of my favorite things. Just simple potato. You know, who thought that that'd be like one of the best things I've ever eaten in New York City, to say the least. So when I started at Northern Union, I developed this latke recipe because it was something that I grew up, you know, eating, and it was something that I was like, you know what, I'm going to share this with everyone. And so I was like, let's put this on the menu. It was like one of the first things I put on the menu.
Yeah, it is not very common here in Maine to get a potato latke.
No, for sure. But as it became one of the best dishes on the menu, in about 8 years, it was like by far the best thing that I ever created. Yeah,
and I remember you told me this story. You said one day this couple came in and tell people how many latkes they ordered in one sitting.
I couldn't believe it. So this couple comes in. You know, they order their first courses. They order a latke. They order a couple more first courses. They order another latke. They order, I think it was an octopus or something I had on the menu. They ordered another latke. All in all, they ordered 5 sets of latkes, which is ridiculous, to be honest.
It's a lot of potato. So that's how good they are. So we're going to dive right into how do you make these latkes. What do we do first?
All right, first thing you want to do is you want to get your potato. Russets are the best potatoes for these because they hold a lot of starch, and in conjunction with the egg, it'll help hold them together. All right, what you want to do is you want to start peeling the potatoes. And you want to set yourself up with a cold water bath to put these into, because we're going to be moving on after we peel these potatoes to the other parts of the dish, and we do not want these potatoes to oxidize. One of the things I love about latkes is that like really bright white and crispy outing. So we're going to get that peeled, and then we're going to put that right in there, and that's going to rest. All right, so first thing we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with our eggs in our bowl, and then we have our minced garlic, salt, of course. This is the magic ingredient, citric acid.
Okay.
That will help halt the oxidation process in our potatoes once we grate them. And a little bit of baking powder. That will give it a slight lift so you don't have too dense of a latke.
Yeah, so the cool thing about citric acid is, you know, we have a whole bunch of culinary acids: ascorbic, citric, lactic, tartaric, etc. But citric acid has the brightest acidity of all of them, and that's what makes it really great in this application. Because I know that you started it with it to prevent oxidation.
Exactly.
But but then you found that it also had this like surprising impact on flavor, right?
It was incredible. It was incredible. Like you said, when I first started using the citric, it was strictly to halt the oxidation process, and as we did taste testings of the latke, we found out that it had this really brightness that you don't normally get from a latke, honestly, because a lot of people do use ascorbic acid, and that doesn't leave that bright of a flavor. But the citric acid does, and I decided to keep it because I thought that was, I think it was a definitive flavor of the latke, to be honest with you. And so, it became really popular, so I think I made the right decision. All right, so now that we have the egg, we have the citric acid, salt, we have the baking powder in there. We're going to add in our grated cabbage, and we are going to grate a little bit of onion to go in here also.
Okay.
Now, I don't cut the onion. I don't slice it. I do like to grate it because when you do grate onions, it does release a lot of the liquid.
Okay.
And that liquid will help flavor the batter.
All right, that's what I was wondering as well. I was like, why not just cut them? It's much simpler.
That's one of the main reasons why I do it. It's the only reason why I do it. And trust me, I'm not a big fan of grating things because, the last thing you want are grated knuckles. Trust
I
me.
think we've all grated our knuckles
Yeah,
at some point.
not great. All right. So we'll just grate these down. And we'll get some of the juice out of there as we're grating. That's very important.
Yeah. So the fun thing, right, is that when we were so the first time that he made the Latkes, and I grew up in New York, and I was like, I've had Latkes. What's the big deal? It was spectacular, but then I was like, you know, once we started eating it, I was like, oh, you know, it would be really fun if we made like a corned beef Latke. So we started kind of playing around with the recipe, and the corned beef did not work out. It was very stringy. Maybe if it was finely diced, but the way we had it, not good. But you know, but Romann had put cabbage in there as well, and we were like, this is really good.
The cabbage actually turned out to, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little bit upset just because when I did develop this menu, I thought these were gonna be the best Latkes ever. I was like, these are hands down, throw away the book. And then when, you know, we started fiddling around with it, and then we added the cabbage, I was like, wait a minute, seriously? And they're actually better than the ones I came up with to begin with.
Yesterday he said, I'm mad I didn't come up with it earlier.
Not, as much as I do love these, not excited that I didn't come up with this on my own. But anyway, all right, so we're gonna add in that onion. And as you can see, nice juice there. So we're gonna get all that in there, because that's a lot of the flavor right there.
Okay.
And then we'll get that mixed up also.
Cool. So we're not worrying too much about giving you guys proportions right now. You can find the full recipe on the blog, blog.modernistpantry.com. Link in the description below.
All right, now that we have it all mixed up, we're gonna get our potatoes ready.
Okay.
So the main thing with the potatoes in this Latke recipe is you do want to work quickly, because working quickly will keep them from oxidizing, right? And so I would do one potato at a time. I wouldn't try to grate all the potatoes and then put them in the batter. I do one potato at a time, then I thoroughly mix in the batter, and then move on to the next potato. That will ensure you that you get a really nice, fresh, bright Latke. So let's go ahead. And I've had a lot of practice doing these, so I can go pretty quickly.
Yeah, he can grate them so fast. Like this same 3 potatoes would take me 10 minutes. I'd be like, great. He's just like,
well,
it's like super speed.
Let me tell you something. When you're making a batch of Latkes in a restaurant and you have to do this with 60 potatoes, you learn how to get really, really fast. Really fast.
Yeah. If someone doesn't have a box grater, can they like dump this into food processor?
Yeah, the food processor works really well.
Okay.
And to be totally honest with you, when we did start at the restaurant, we grated all the potatoes, and then it just became more efficient to use a food processor.
All right, so if you got one of those, yeah, do that instead. Save your knuckles.
All right, so there you go. You got your potatoes grated. You want to, this is just the first one, but you want to get that in there as soon as you can, as fast as you can. You know, it's really bright right now, but you wait 5-10 minutes and that thing will turn brown and it won't be the most appealing thing. And so you get that mixed in there really, really well. You just want to make sure that you get that mixture all over the potatoes, and you know, let that citric acid do its job. Okay, so now that we have all the potatoes incorporated into the batter, we're going to go ahead and take a piece of plastic wrap and we're going to put it over the batter. What we want to do is, since this is going to be resting overnight and allowing the batter to get its flavor, we put a little bit of plastic over the top, and we're going to poke some holes in it. The reason why we poke the holes is because we're trying to make sure that the potatoes in the batter stay underneath the liquid.
All right.
Because if it doesn't, it'll rise to the top and it'll start to oxidize if it's not in that liquid.
Yep.
You want to make sure to get the sides, because that's usually where it rises up to the top, and you'll get some of those brownish pieces. All right, so now that we got those holes in there, what I'll do is I'll just, and as you can see that liquid coming right out of there.
Okay, so you get like a thin layer of liquid on top.
Exactly, and that will ensure that you have a really nice, beautiful Latke batter, and that'll go into the fridge. And then tomorrow we'll pull this out and we'll start making our Latkes. Okay.
Well, luckily for you, we already did this yesterday. So with the magic of television, we will now swap that out for one that we already did.
And that.
Okay. Woohoo!
See, so you take. Right, as you see, this has been resting for 24 hours. It hasn't.
Yep, looks exactly the same as the other one.
Same as the other one, exactly. And we're ready to make our Latkes. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your pan is on medium to high heat. And once it comes up to the proper temperature, we'll start making the Latkes. I like to use ring molds when I do the Latkes. Main reason is people eat with their eyes, you know, so when you're in the restaurant,
Yes.
you know, usually you want something nice to look at before you even dig into it. But also I found that using the ring mold helps get a nice consistent flavor to it also. Not flavor, excuse me, sorry. Consistent temperature. So when you're cooking it, it cooks very even. And that's very, very important. Because if you don't do it with I mean, it'll still be very nice. You'll still get a really delicious latke. But you know, it could change the way the crispiness of the potato is. Doing the ring mold, you'll make sure that you have a nice crisp top, nice crisp bottom, and then the center will be nice and juicy.
Yeah, so for today, we're gonna do one in the ring mold and one just kind of the old-fashioned hand patty way, you know, because if you're at home, you're like, I love the recipe, but I don't have a ring mold. You can still do it, so we're gonna show you both ways. Yeah,
and it'll still be delicious. The ones I've had on my way to school were not in a ring mold. They were, you know, just handmade. So here we go. We're gonna get that in there, and once you get your ring mold in there, you want to put a little bit of oil in there. Today we're using sunflower oil. It's a nice neutral oil. Yep. Not too much flavor.
So I noticed that you're putting the oil directly into the mold and not just coating the bottom of the pan.
Exactly. Exactly. We're trying to get that. We're trying to get that oil to stay right in there. And then we're gonna take our latke batter, and we're gonna squeeze out the excess water in there. You totally want to do this because this will give you a really, really crisp latke. You don't want a lot of that liquid because you'll end up just boiling it, to be honest with you.
And I think that's one of the problems people have, right? It's like they're like, oh, why is it so mushy?
Exactly. And so now we got that in there. Oh, you can already hear that. That's going to be delicious. All right, so that's in there. I usually like to cook them about sometimes 8 to 10 minutes. It depends on your preference. Obviously, if you don't want it too crunchy, you know, you can go last 6, 7 minutes, but I mean, it's a latke, so you want it to be crunchy. Yep. So I go 8 minutes on each side. All right, so a little bit of oil. This is for our second one that we're not going to use the ring mold. Same thing goes here. You want to make sure you squeeze out as much as the excess liquid as you can from the batter. Again, ensuring that you'll get a nice and crispy latke. So, all right, that's ready to go. We'll just get that right in there. And we'll use our spatula to press it down to the desired thickness.
Yeah.
All right, so now that these have been sitting for about 8 minutes here, I've been moving around a little bit. We're gonna give them a nice little flip, the other side, and we'll see how crispy. Oh, see that?
I like
see that?
You have to like that. I love having browning, or as my daughter calls it, burnt.
Burnt,
like, this is burnt. I don't want to eat it. I'm like, that's not burnt. It's got flavor.
Yes, this is what you're looking for. That's why, you know, I mean, you can go lower. You can go 6 minutes, whatever. But I like to go 8, sometimes 10 even, because this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get this like look at how beautiful that is, like golden brown. And once that other side is cooked, I can't wait to have some. This is gonna be delicious. Wow, I'm having like flashbacks of high school.
Ooh.
Not always the funnest time, but you know.
But you're like, I got the latkes.
I did get the latkes. I got that out of it, you know. And I got a diploma too, which my parents were very proud of, by the way. Very proud of. All right. So we got another 8 minutes to go before we are ready to chow down on these guys.
Cool. Sounds good.
So hang out with us.
Okay, it is time to taste test these latkes, and I can't wait. I think they're just about ready. Roman's gonna pull them out of the pan.
All right, here we go. All right, so we'll start off with the ones not in the ring mold. All right, that was beautiful.
I love this.
That looks really nice, actually.
Yeah.
I'd like a over easy egg on top of that, to be honest with you.
Ooh.
Imagine that.
Come on now.
And then that's restaurant quality right there, I tell you. All right, let's have a little bit of creme fraiche with that. Oh man, do I love some creme fraiche. So we're gonna taste test both of these guys. These guys.
Cool. There you go.
Right. Let's see.
All right, which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with that guy.
Okay, perfect. I'm just gonna go a little bit of creme fraiche because I can't have too much of that.
Okay.
So this is kind of cool. So I don't know if you can really. Oh, look at the steam coming off this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really see this, but you know the cabbage is still holding its shape.
Yep.
But everything is soft and everything is super fresh. Mmm. They're really good.
Oh man, that's good. That is really good. Wow.
So we talked a lot about how important is the potatoes stay fresh, and what you get in here is the potatoes on the outside perfectly crispy, the potatoes inside cooked, not soggy,
not soggy at all,
not mushy at all,
very crisp.
Yes, and then the cabbage, you know, if you're like we're not really huge cabbage fans, but love it in this dish because it just adds the right amount of texture.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's no cabbagey flavor, but it makes it also a little bit healthier because you know cabbage is healthy.
Exactly.
So, this is really good.
I'm gonna have one more piece before we move on. I'm sorry, I just have
All right.
to.
Okay.
I just have to. Just one more. Oh man.
You can kind of see how nice this looks.
All right.
Super good.
Let's go restaurant quality here.
Okay.
All right.
Get this out of the way. We're gonna finish this off camera.
Like I said, you do eat with your eyes, and when you look at that and how symmetrical it looks, you're like, oh wow.
I know.
Beautiful. It looks great.
I think this looks good.
I almost hate to cut into it, but I'm going.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, this way you're like, yeah, mash it up. This way you're like, I'm trying to cut it
we get a
in
nice
a really
little...
organized, delicate fashion.
I'm just gonna go ahead and eat it. Wow. I can't say it's better than the other one, even though it looks nicer, but it's still delicious.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is because it's cooked in the remold, this one feels to me a little bit more compacted.
Yes.
So the texture is a little bit denser. They're both fantastic. You're not gonna go wrong either way. But if you're like, I'm trying to impress, then this is the way to go. If you're like, hey, I just want something homey and easy, skip the ring mold, right? Either way.
And put a fried egg on top of that.
Yeah, so give it a try. You can, again, find the recipe in the links in the description below. And, of course, subscribe, like, and comment and stuff so that, you know, we get our algorithm is pleased. And until next week, from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie.
I'm Roman, and we'll see you next time.
Do we have any more of the faux gras that we spun in the... That's all gone?
Yeah.
Oh.
I ate it.
Oh my God. That was a lot.
Every day I came in and like I go in the fridge and I'm like, oh, spoon. Spoon. Nope.